You ever see a real estate listing that just makes you stop and think, what is the real story behind that price tag? Well, today, we're digging into a really unusual one. It's not a mansion, it's not a skyscraper, it's a giant hole in the ground that might just be worth way more than it looks. Okay, let's get into it.
All right, first things first, the price. The Kipton Quarry in Ohio is listed for a cool $4.3 million. That is some serious cash. So, what in the world are you getting for that kind of money?
Well, here it is. For your money, you get 56 acres of industrial land, and right in the middle of it is a 10-acre active open-pit quarry. So this isn't just some empty field. We're talking about a full-blown working industrial site.
And that really is the central question here, isn't it? Are you just buying 56 acres of rock? Or is there some kind of hidden value that makes this a multi-million-dollar deal? Let's break it all down.
Okay, so the first layer of value is quite literally what is in the ground. The geology of this place is the bedrock, pun intended, of the entire business.
And we are not talking about just any old rock. This is Berea Formation sandstone. And what makes this stone so special? Well, it's all about reputation. For more than a century, this has been the gold standard, the go-to material for architects and builders who want the best of the best. And there is a lot of it. I mean, get this. Geological studies estimate the site holds reserves of up to 400 million tons of this premium sandstone. That is just a mind-boggling amount of raw material, which means a super long-term supply for whoever runs the place.
So what's all that stone actually worth? Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. I was looking through the investor deck, and this one detail just jumped out at me. A geological appraisal from way back in 2004 valued the property somewhere between $5 and $10 million. So even with those older numbers, the potential value of the stone alone seems to blow past the current asking price.
Okay, so you've got 400 million tons of premium stone. Fantastic, but how do you actually turn that giant pile of rock into money? Well, that's where the operation itself comes in.
And let me tell you, this is not some simple pick and shovel job. It's a highly sophisticated three-step dance. First, they use controlled blasting to get the raw stone out. Then it goes to processing, where a massive 11.5-foot diamond-tipped blade saws it into slabs. And finally, it's all about quality control, making sure every piece meets these incredibly high standards.
All right, so you've blasted it, you've cut it. Now, where does all this stone go? Well, this is where the story gets a secret life of its own. You might be surprised.
I mean, the range of what they make here is huge. You've got your custom-cut slabs for fancy landscaping projects, then these massive blocks used to stop erosion, aggregate stone for driveways, and even heavy-duty armor stone for building break walls along Lake Erie.
And here's a perfect example. You can see how that raw, rugged stone from the quarry gets totally transformed into these absolutely beautiful walkways and patios. It's pretty wild to see it go from the pit to a perfect patio.
But hang on, because this is where the story takes a really fascinating, unexpected turn. Beyond construction, beyond landscaping, this quarry has a super high-tech scientific side that connects it directly to the global energy industry.
What you're looking at are called petroleum cores. They're these meticulously extracted cylinders of Berea sandstone that get shipped out to researchers all over the planet. Seriously, scientists use these cores to test and model how oil and gas move through rock, which helps them develop more efficient extraction methods. This is a highly specialized, very high-value product that puts this Ohio quarry on the global scientific map.
So, just to recap, we have a quarry with an incredibly diverse product line, making everything from beautiful patios to vital tools for energy research. But the investment opportunity doesn't actually stop there. There is a second, totally different asset included in this sale.
And I am not kidding. After everything we have just covered, believe it or not, the stone is only half the story.
So, get this. The property also comes with what the listing calls a unique spring water asset. And this isn't just some little creek in the back. No, this is a potential doorway into an entirely different and, let's be honest, incredibly lucrative business, the booming bottled water industry.
So you really have to wrap your head around this. An investor isn't just buying one business, they're buying two distinct opportunities in one package. On one hand, you have the rock-solid established sandstone operation with all its different markets. And on the other, you have the raw potential to launch a brand new consumer brand into the multi-billion-dollar bottled water market.
All of this brings us right back to that big $4.3 million question. With all these different layers of value, how should a potential investor weigh this whole opportunity?
Okay, let's put on our investor hats for a second. The advantages are pretty clear. You've got vast reserves for the long term, a super diverse product range, including that unique scientific niche, and of course, the high quality of the stone itself. But the challenges are just as real. You're looking at a huge initial investment, and you'd have to navigate complex supply chains, environmental regulations, and of course, market competition and demand.
It's a complex investment, no doubt about it, with huge potential and definite risks. It's a source of raw materials for our cities, a tool for scientific advancement, and maybe, just maybe, the source of the next big bottled water brand. Which leaves me with one final question for you to ponder. If you had the money, would you buy a quarry?